me that this knife really fell through a hole in the boy's pocket. Someone picked it up off the street, went to the boy's house, and stabbed his father with it just to test its sharpness?
No, I'm just saying it's possible the boy lost his knife and that somebody else stabbed his father with a similar knife. It's just possible.
Take a look at this knife.
Hey guys, welcome back to Break It Down, where we take your favorite movies and basically break them apart on a therapist's couch. And today, we're doing that to the classic 12 Angry Men. We're going way back. Black and white, one room, 12 guys. No explosions. Here's my bizarre little theory before we even start. What if Henry Fonda's character, Juror 8, the guy everyone calls the hero, is actually just a man with a massive God complex who got lucky? Okay, quick plot refresher. 12 jurors are locked in a room to decide if a teenage boy gets the death penalty. One guy says not guilty and refuses to budge. And slowly, the whole room turns. So in the next 15 minutes, we're going to dig into why standing alone isn't always brave, what this movie says about ego disguised as justice, and why Juror 8 might be the most dangerous guy in that room. Okay, so let's start with the obvious. Juror 8 stands up, says not guilty, and everyone looks at him like he just farted in church. And honestly, good for him, right? Guy's got a spine. But here's the thing nobody talks about. He didn't have evidence. He had a feeling, a vibe. And we're all trained by movies to think vibe guy who stands alone automatically equals hero. What if it doesn't? Because think about it, if this kid actually did it, Juror 8 just talked 11 people into letting a murderer walk, using nothing but confidence and a pocket knife he happened to have on him. Which, by the way, who just carries a switchblade around? Suspicious. And the way he does it isn't even logic half the time. It's pressure. It's shame. He makes guys feel stupid for agreeing with each other. That's not justice. That's peer pressure in a suit. So the real question is, was Juror 8 fighting for truth? Or was he just the loudest guy in the room who refused to lose? So here's another angle, and stay with me on this. Have you ever noticed how every other juror in that room has like an entire personality crisis during this movie? Except him. Juror 3, the angry dad guy, breaks down completely by the end. Juror 9, the old man, basically rediscovers his self-worth. Juror 5 confronts his whole childhood. Everybody changes. But Juror 8, same guy at the end as he was at the beginning. Calm, composed, slightly smug. And that's when it hit me. What if this movie isn't actually about the kid on trial at all? What if it's a movie about 11 guys getting emotionally dismantled by one extremely calm man, one at a time, like some kind of courtroom horror movie where the monster is mild-mannered and wears a nice hat? Think about the structure. He isolates people, he targets their insecurities. Juror 3 and his son issues, Juror 10 and his racism. He doesn't argue with the room, he picks people off individually. That's not a debate format, guys. That's a predator pattern. And the scariest part? It works. Every single time. And here's where it gets even weirder. Because if you actually pay attention, Juror 8 barely raises his voice the entire movie. While everyone else is sweating, yelling, loosening their ties, he's just standing by the window, calm, almost bored. And we're taught that calm equals trustworthy, right? Like if someone's not yelling, they must be the reasonable one. But what if calm is just a tactic? Think about every uncomfortable conversation you've ever had with someone who refused to match your energy. You're upset, they're calm, and suddenly you're the one who looks crazy. That's not them being mature, that's a power move. It makes the other person look unstable just by comparison. Juror 8 does this all movie. He never gets defensive, he just keeps asking little questions. Well, isn't it possible? Could it be? Over and over. And it sounds so gentle, but it's actually kind of exhausting if you think about it from the other guy's side. It's the verbal equivalent of someone going, "I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed." And nobody in that room can compete with that energy. Nobody. That's how you win an argument without ever technically arguing. Let's talk about Juror 10, the racist guy. Everyone remembers his big rant, the one where the whole room just turns their backs on him, one by one, until he's basically talking to a wall. And we're supposed to feel good in that moment, right? Like, yes, justice. The room finally shows him. But nobody actually argued with him. Nobody said, here's why you're wrong. They just physically turned away. Which, sure, makes a great visual. Directors love that shot. But did it actually change his mind? Or did it just shut him up? Because shutting someone up and changing their mind are not the same thing. And this movie kind of treats them like they are. So, is the movie actually solving prejudice in that room? Or is it just performing the solving of prejudice? Like, everyone gets to feel like they did something brave by turning their chairs, and then we move on, and Juror 10 just sits there, humiliated, probably more bitter than before. Which, if you think about it, doesn't really fix anything. It just makes the room feel better about itself. And here's something that bugs me every time I rewatch this. The whole movie hinges on this idea that one man's reasonable doubt can override 11 other guys' gut instincts. And we're supposed to clap for that. But flip it for a second. What if 11 guys had voted not guilty, and one guy held out for guilty? Would we be calling him brave? Or would we be calling him stubborn, biased, the problem? Same exact behavior, completely different label. Just depends which direction he's pointing. And that's kind of unsettling, because it means this whole movie isn't really about truth. It's about which version of standing alone we've decided in advance is the noble one. Now, here's another thing. Juror 8 never actually proves the kid is innocent. Not once. All he does is introduce doubt. He shows that the evidence could be wrong. Could be. Might be. Possibly. And that's enough to flip the entire room. Which is honestly kind of terrifying when you think about how the real world works. Because could be wrong can talk almost anyone out of almost anything, if it's said with enough confidence, at the right volume, by the right guy. Okay, so let's talk about the knife for a second, because this part always gets me. Juror 8 pulls out this knife, identical to the one used in the murder, and just slams it into the table. And everyone gasps, big dramatic moment. But where did he get it? He just had it. He walked around his neighborhood the night before, found a pawn shop, and bought a switchblade that happened to be identical to the mortar weapon. For fun, just in case. And we're supposed to read that as dedication, diligence, the mark of a guy who really cares about justice. But also, that's a guy who went out of his way, on his own time, to track down evidence that supports the conclusion he already believed, before he even got to the deliberation room. That's not an open mind, guys. That's homework done by someone who already wrote the essay and is just looking for footnotes. So when he acts all neutral, like, I don't know, maybe he's innocent, just a thought, he's lying. He came in locked and loaded. He had a prop, a whole demonstration prepared. This man came to deliberate like he was defending a thesis. Okay, totally different direction. Let's talk about the actual ending, because everyone remembers not guilty, but nobody remembers how messy getting there actually was. So, final verdict, just to recap for anyone who hasn't seen it. The kid is found not guilty. Unanimous. 12-0. Everyone files out, nobody really looks at each other, and that's it. No music swell, no big speech, no justice has been served. Just guys grabbing their coats and going home like it's the end of a long shift at work. And here's the angle I want to take with this. The movie never tells you if the kid is actually innocent. Like, ever. Not in the verdict, not in some epilogue, nothing. We don't get a, and it turned out the real killer was. We don't get a news clipping. Nothing. The movie just ends on reasonable doubt and leaves you sitting there going, okay, but did he do it though? And I think that's the real twist of this whole film. We spend 2 hours convinced this is a movie about finding the truth. But the ending reveals it was never about truth at all. It was about whether the system can be talked into doubting itself. That's it. That's the whole movie. Doubt, not innocence. And honestly, that's a way scarier ending than if they just shown us the real killer. And look, maybe I'm completely off base with all this. Maybe Juror 8 really is just a good guy who saved an innocent kid, and I'm the one who needs therapy for turning a feel-good classic into a psychological crime scene. But that's kind of our whole thing here. We take the movies you grew up loving, the ones everyone agreed are the good ones, and we go, but what if they're a little unhinged, actually? So here's the deal. We're doing this twice a week now. Some weird, slightly deranged theory about a movie you thought you understood dropped right here twice a week. So hit subscribe, ring that bell, whatever the YouTube algorithm wants from you today, just give it to it. And if you've got a movie you want me to put on the therapist's couch next, drop it in the comments. I will absolutely read every single one and then ignore most of them and pick whatever I personally feel like watching.